Hello, myself Preeti Sushil. So today I'm going to explain you about Oersted experiment. It is of chapter magnetism in physics. So before studying the actual experiment given by Oersted, let us first see the historical background of this experiment. So in the year 1802, there was an Italian jurist and his name was Gian Domenico. So he was first to notice that when the current was flowing in the wire, then the magnetic needle was showing some deflection. Means he tried to make a relationship between electricity and magnetism. So what he noticed, when the current was flowing in the wire, then the magnetic needle was getting deflected in that area. So he published his observations in the local newspaper, but people did not show much interest in his experiment, in his found what he found it. So later on in the year 1820, this Christian Oersted, he reperformed that experiment and he discovered the following postulates. So what this experiment was, so what he did basically, he took a magnetic needle and he pivoted it, means he fixed it at a point on a stand, and then he took a wire and he placed that wire parallel to the needle, okay, and he connected that wire with the cell and the plug battery. See, that only I have written. Consider a magnetic needle SN pivoted over a stand. Hold the wire AB parallel to the needle SN and connect it to the cell and the plug battery. Okay. Now when it's connected to the cell, the current will flow. So when the current was flowing from south to north, this needle was deflected in the west direction. This was the north pole of this magnetic needle was deflected in the west direction. See, this is north, south, west and east. So this was deflected on the west direction. And what was his second postulate, his second observation, that when the current flowing in the opposite direction, that is from north to south, when the direction of the current was reversed, that is from north to south, the north pole of that magnetic needle was deflected in the east direction. Okay, see, that only I have written. When the wire held above the needle and the current flows from south to the north pole of the magnetic needle gets deflected towards the west. But you have to keep in mind that this time for these two postulates, the wire was placed above the needle. Okay, and see the next, when the direction of the current is reversed so that it flows from north to south, the north pole of the magnetic needle gets deflected towards the east. Now what was his third observation? When he placed this wire AB below the needle, the observations that magnetic needle of north pole was deflected just in reverse direction. Okay, and what was his fourth postulate? That when the current in the wire has stopped flowing, the magnetic needles come back into the initial position. That is, when no current was flowing in the wire, magnetic needles show null deflection. Okay, so what he basically deduced from this postulates, that a magnetic needle, a magnetic needle can be deflected by a magnetic field only. Means magnetic field तभी deflect होती है जब वो किसी magnetic फील्ड में रखी जाए, तभी उस निडल में डिफ्लेक्शन शो होता है. सो उन्होंने ये प्रूव किया कि ज़रूर ही इस करंट के फ्लो होने से कोई मैग्नेटिक फील्ड क्रिएट हो रही है जिससे कि मैग्नेटिक निडल डिफ्लेक्ट हो रही है. तो उन्होंने यही बताया कि a current carrying conductor produces a magnetic field around it. So this was the Oersted experiment. So what is now Ampere's swimming rule? So based on the Oersted experiment, Ampere's gave a swimming rule to just remember, figure out the direction of deflection of magnetic needle. So what this rule says, imagine a man swimming along a wire in the direction of flow of current. Means this man should swim in the direction of flow of current of wire along the wire, means parallel to the wire, and his face should always turn towards the needle. See, his face should be turned towards the needle. Then the north pole of the needle will get deflected towards his left hand. Means what this trying to say, that when this man is swimming in the direction of flow of current, means his face should be in the flow of direction of current and his face should always face towards the magnetic needle. Then the direction of deflection of the north pole of magnetic needle will be towards his left hand, means towards this hand. It will be above. Now when his face will be this side, his hand will be above, and conversely for the opposite flow of opposite direction of current. Now there's another trick to remember the direction, that is snow. Now what does it mean? When the current is flowing from south to north and the wire is placed over the needle, then the north pole is deflected towards the west direction. Okay, thank you so much.